today, healthy snacking brand Farmley has completed a $40 million Series C fundraise, which was led by L Catterton, a global consumer-focused investment firm. Now, the company says this transaction will help it strengthen its foothold in India's growing health snacking market, penetrating untapped regional markets as well as developing new product formulations. For more on what the funding really means to the company and the path ahead, joining me now is the co-founder of the company, Abhishek Agarwal. Abhishek, welcome to Startup Street. Thanks very much for your time here. Tell us about this $40 million round, a huge leap from your last round in December. How much of this is primary? How much of it is secondary?
Thanks a lot for having me on the show. So we closed our Series C round, $40 million, led by L Catterton. 70% of the round is on the primary, which will be used in the company for the expansion purpose, and 30% is for the secondaries on making exits to the initial and angel investors, and some for the ESOPs buyback from the initial employees.
All right, and can you share the kind of revenue multiple or give us a ballpark on the valuation at which this round was closed for Farmley?
So can't comment on that much, but the last year had been really great for us. We have seen almost 60% of growth in the last financial year, and seeing that growth journey and the kind of growth that this market is seeing, L Catterton has decided to put in the Series C round. Yeah.
All right, so no word on the numbers, but tell us then, how will you deploy these funds? What are these untapped regions that you're talking about that you want to get into, and what new product formulations are you working on?
The funds will primarily be used for expanding our infrastructure and modernizing our capex to meet the growing demands. Secondly, it will be on the expanding our distribution channels. We are already very strong in the e-commerce and quick commerce space. So now this fund will be used in expanding our offline distributions across pan-India, region by region. And some of it will also be used in getting into newer markets apart from India, where we are seeing decent traction coming on.
And what are these markets outside of India, if you could tell us, Abhishek?
So outside of India, I think US is one market where we are seeing decent growth on the back of our flavored makhana range. Makhana is going through a global trajectory. It is obviously 100% of the makhana is grown in India. So it's seeing a global traction now. So we are on the back of makhana. We are trying to expand into certain territories, as I mentioned, in USA, Canada, Australia.
Okay. Okay, US, Canada, and Australia are the markets you're looking at outside India. But, briefly give us a sense of how sales have been shaping up for you. Of course, it's been a while since you started the company in 2017. What are your monthly sales now? And also, your reported revenues last were at 370 crores. How's FY26 shaping up, and how close are you now to profitability?
Yeah, so it's been almost an 8 years of journey for us. So last year, as you mentioned, we have closed at 370 crores in revenues. We are currently at an ARR of roughly about 500 crores. And we are looking to continue the similar growth trajectory, about 70% growth in the next financial year. This year is the first year when we have seen EBITDA profitability. So profitability is one thing, where we have our keen eye on. We'll try to grow sustainably this year as well. Obviously, there will be some key investments on capex, on brand building. But yeah, the trajectory to profitability is there.
All right. Abhishek, also a word on the channel distribution strategy. And this is something we asked, I think, almost all of the players in this segment, because you've been present online. More recently, of course, you've also forayed into the offline space. How has that played out so far? And what is the split, if you look at sales or revenues, between offline, e-commerce and quick commerce, which is an important segment for you?
True. So from past 2 years, we've started the offline distribution. We have been really strong on the e-commerce and quick commerce space, which roughly contributes to almost 75% of our sales, 35% coming from the e-commerce giants like Flipkart and Amazons, and rest 45% comes from the quick commerce space, which is Blinkit, Instamart, and Zepto. And we are the category leaders in this space across all three channels. Offline, we started, as I mentioned, in last 18 to 20 months. We started with modern trade channels, and then we started foraying into the general trade in specific territory. In our good hero product range like flavored makhanas, healthy dessert like date bites, we have been seeing a good traction across different territories. So as of now, we have almost 15 to 16% of our sales coming from offline channels, and the rest coming from the institutional channels like airlines, some part of it from the government channels. But yeah, this is one segment which is offline, which is currently at about 15%. We are looking to get this number to 30% in the next 18 to 20 months. We are currently present across 20,000 stores in the offline channel, and the idea is to expand this up to 1.5 lakh stores in the coming 18 to 20 months.
All right, that's a big expansion planned in the offline space for you, Abhishek. But you spoke about your makhanas and date bites and whatnot that you have. When you're talking about this product innovation, again coming back to that point, are you looking at adjacent categories like protein snacks, breakfast cereals, or when should we expect these new launches, if at all you're considering them?
Yeah, obviously. So we invest heavily on the R&D on the product formulation side, which is one of our core USP on how do we maintain and how do we elevate the taste and not compromising on the health elements. So that's where we invest heavily on the R&D side. We are currently very strong in the flavored makhana space, healthy dessert space, your dry fruit mixes and trail mix space. Going along, yeah, we are on cards to launch more on the go snacking for making it more accessible at the price point of say 20 rupees, 30 rupees. That's where we are eyeing, to launch more products. And obviously, growth and the kind of number of stores that this kind of price point can cater to, that's where we are seeing the major expansion coming from.
All right. Finally, Abhishek, just to get a sense of how large the play for Farmley could be, of course, in India, you've been growing your business and you spoke about piloting in the US, Canada, Singapore, and so on. What is the response outside of India so far, and which markets look most promising, where you see meaningful possibilities for really scaling up your business?
I think all the markets where, this healthy snacking as a segment is picking up really well and where this segment has already matured. These are the two areas where, we are seeing good response. So I think US, Canada, Australia, I think these are three markets where we have received decent traction and decent response. Again, we are very early stage in the journey there. So yeah, learnings on the way, and then we'll see how to, capture markets there.
That, Abhishek, thank you very much for giving us your time today. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Moving